Long ago, the world was full of people, bustling with life and energy. Villages were busy and towns were filled with laughter and chatter. But beneath the surface, something important was missing. Many people had forgotten how to be kind to one another. They walked past each other without a smile, and their hearts grew cold and distant. Instead of helping or listening, they argued, shouted, and stopped listening to God's gentle voice. Their words were sharp, and their actions were selfish. The world grew noisy and grumpy, filled with anger and sadness. God looked down and saw how people treated each other, and his heart was deeply saddened. But in the middle of all this unhappiness, there was one man who was different: Noah. He stood out like a bright light in a dark place. Noah loved God with all his heart. He tried to be kind, gentle, and helpful, even when everyone else was grumpy or mean. He cared for people and animals alike. He and his family were like a little island of kindness in a sea of grumpiness. Their home was filled with laughter, love, and gentle words, even when the world outside was stormy. God saw Noah's good heart and trusted him. He watched as Noah chose kindness day after day, and it made God smile even when the world made him sad. While the world was loud with anger and noise, God heard the gentle whispers of Noah's family, soft words of hope, faith, and love. God decided it was time to start fresh, to wash away the sadness and keep what was good and loving. He wanted to give the world a new beginning. God wanted to save Noah, his family, and all the wonderful animals he had made. He saw the beauty in their hearts and the joy they brought to the world. God's big rescue plan was about to begin, a plan that would change everything and show the world what true kindness looked like. It all started with a special conversation between God and Noah. God spoke to Noah, sharing his plan and trusting Noah to listen carefully. God knew Noah would listen, even if the plan sounded impossible or strange. Noah's heart was open, and he was ready to do what was right. This was a plan to make the world new again, to wash away the hurt and bring back hope, joy, and kindness. God wanted to save the people and animals who loved him, to give them a chance to start over and fill the world with love once more. The world was about to change forever, and a new story of hope and kindness was about to unfold. And it all began with Noah's kindness, a simple choice that would help save the world and teach everyone the power of love. One bright and peaceful day, as Noah was going about his usual chores, he suddenly heard a gentle, loving voice from above. It was God, speaking directly to him, choosing Noah for something truly extraordinary. "I have an important job for you," God said, his voice full of kindness and care. This was not just any task. It was a mission that would change the world forever. God explained that the world had become so full of unkindness and sadness. People had forgotten how to love and care for one another, and the earth was filled with trouble. God needed to wash it clean with a great rain, a flood that would give the world a fresh start. But God made a special promise to Noah. He told him, "You and your family are different. You are kind and good, and I will keep you safe through everything that is about to happen." "Build an ark," God said, "a giant boat, bigger than anything you've ever seen or imagined. It would be strong enough to float on the deepest waters and big enough to hold your family and many animals." God didn't just give Noah a big job. He gave him every detail he would need. God explained what kind of wood to use, how long and tall the ark should be, and even where to put the door and the window so light could shine in. Noah didn't complain or doubt for a moment. He listened carefully and trusted God completely, knowing that God's plan was always good. He gathered his family together and shared God's rescue plan with them, explaining how important their role would be in this adventure. Building a huge boat on dry land sounded strange and even a little bit silly, but Noah's family trusted him, and, most importantly, they trusted God's promise. They agreed to help, knowing this was more than just building a boat. It was being part of God's adventure, a chance to do something amazing together. Their neighbors probably thought they were silly, or even a little bit crazy, but Noah's family didn't let that stop them. They worked together, encouraging each other every day. They followed God's instructions step by step, measuring, sawing, and hammering, always ready for whatever came next, no matter how hard the work was. This wasn't just about saving themselves. It was about saving all the beautiful things in the world. The animals, the trees, the flowers, and the promise of a new beginning. So with hope in their hearts, they rolled up their sleeves, picked up their tools, and got to work, side by side. Their big adventure was just beginning, and they knew that together, they could do anything. Through every challenge and every step, God was with them. guiding and protecting Noah and his family as they prepared for the journey ahead. Noah and his sons began building the ark, chopping wood and carrying heavy logs. They measured carefully, following God's blueprint step by step. Noah's wife and daughters-in-law gathered sticky tar to seal the ark and make it waterproof. It was messy, hard work, but they laughed and sang as they worked together. The ark slowly took shape, first the bottom, then the tall sides, until it was as long as a field and as tall as a house. People passing by stared and whispered, but Noah kept working, trusting God's plan. Finally, the ark was finished. 3 levels, lots of rooms, a huge door, and a window at the top. Noah and his family stood back, tired but joyful. They had built something amazing together. The ark was ready for whatever God had planned. They didn't know what was next, but they trusted God. Their adventure was about to get even bigger. Now came the most magical part, gathering the animals. The world seemed to hold its breath as something truly wonderful began to happen. Noah didn't have to search. God called the animals himself. It was as if an invisible invitation had gone out to every creature, big and small. From jungles, plains, and mountains, animals came in pairs: lions, tigers, and even shy deer. They traveled from faraway forests and distant deserts, all drawn to the ark. Giraffes stretched their long necks above the crowd, bears lumbered along, monkeys chattered excitedly, and turtles plodded steadily forward. Overhead, birds of every color swooped and soared, filling the sky with a rainbow of feathers and cheerful songs. 2 by 2, they walked, hopped, and flew to the ark. Some animals pranced, others waddled, and a few even hopped with joy. Noah and his family welcomed them inside, making sure each had a cozy spot. They gently guided the animals, showing them where to rest and where to find water. There was no fighting. All the animals were calm, as if God had told them to be on their best behavior. Even the fiercest creatures sat quietly beside the gentlest ones. The ark filled with chirps, roars, and happy noises. Laughter and playful sounds echoed through the wooden halls, making the ark feel alive. Noah's family had stored food for everyone: hay for the horses and cows, nuts, seeds, and leaves for the smaller creatures and birds. Every animal's favorite treat was ready and waiting. They made sure every animal was cared for, checking on each one and offering gentle words and smiles. Finally, the last pair, 2 tiny ladybugs, crawled inside. Even the smallest creatures had a place in this grand adventure. The great animal parade was complete. Every animal, from the tallest elephant to the tiniest ant, had found its way to the ark. Everyone was safely on board, surrounded by new friends and the promise of a new beginning. The ark was full of life, ready for the journey ahead. Excitement and hope filled the air as the animals settled in. Noah and his family closed the door, trusting God's promise. They knew they were safe no matter what came next. The adventure was about to begin, and everyone inside the ark was ready for whatever awaited them on the open waters. With everyone inside, God sealed the ark's door. Rain began to fall, soft at first, then pouring for 40 days and nights. The ark floated as the world was washed clean. Inside, Noah's family and the animals were safe and dry. Each day they fed the animals and kept the ark tidy. It was hard work, but they did it with cheerful hearts. At night, they listened to the rain and thanked God for keeping them safe. Outside, water covered everything, but inside, there was warmth and hope. They couldn't see land, but they trusted God's plan. The ark rocked gently on the waves like a cradle in the storm. Noah's family knew God was with them. They waited patiently for the rain to stop. They believed the sun would shine again. Safe in the ark, they held on to hope. At last, the rain stopped and the world grew quiet. The ark floated on calm water, but there was still no land in sight. Noah sent out a raven, but it found nowhere to rest. Then he sent a dove, but it returned too. No dry land yet. A week later, Noah sent the dove again. This time, it came back with a fresh olive leaf in its beak. Noah's heart filled with joy, a sign that new life was growing somewhere. The family cared for the dove, grateful for its hopeful message. 1 week later, Noah sent the dove out once more. This time, it didn't return. Noah knew the dove had found a new home. The waters were going down. It was almost time to leave the ark. God's promise was coming true. A new beginning was near. Finally, the ark came to rest on a mountain. God told Noah to open the door and step out into the sunshine. The world was fresh and new, sparkling after the storm. The animals marched out, two by two, ready to find new homes. Noah and his family were grateful and built an altar to thank God. They prayed, thanking God for his rescue and love. As they prayed, God placed a rainbow in the sky, a beautiful promise. God said, "Whenever you see a rainbow, remember my promise. I will never flood the whole world again." The rainbow was a sign of hope and new beginnings. God's love would always be with them. Every time we see a rainbow, we can remember God's promise to Noah and to us. God always keeps his promises. The adventure had a happy ending. What was your favorite animal on the ark? Make sure you comment down below and don't forget to like and subscribe.